بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Anything in life, for it to become vogue, needs sacrifice and mujahada. Either we're going to sacrifice our wealth, our time, our energy, our resources, our potential for Allah and the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if it's not utilized there, then Baqul Maulana Yusuf rahmatullah alayhi, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you will do what you're not supposed to do. So how sacrifices are given, also this wealth needs to be spent for Allah. Batil will make a counter effort so that the sacrifice will be utilized in the wrong direction. Now we come in front of us a frenzy, a euphoria of Black Friday. See the plotting in the planning, and we think so words don't matter, but every word counts. Black is significant and synonymous to darkness and batil, but the day of Jumu'ah is synonymous to nur, light, haqq. That's why we are told to read Suratul Fatiha on the day of Jumu'ah, no other day. Because this is the day when that amal is done, then this will break the biggest, the darkest, the boldest, the most powerful of all darknesses, trials and tribulations that came on earth, the fitna and the coming of Dajjal. And what usul as batil emphasize on, number one is israf, because there is wastage of our halal rizq, wastage of our time, wastage of items which are not needed. Secondly, the day of Jummah is a blessed Friday. It's a white Friday, not a black Friday. Na'udhu billah. Thirdly, a person is ungrateful of the bounties that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him. Because if we are grateful and we are content of what we have, then a person will not need more. They will not need excess. That's why in the ayat, وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبْذِيرًا. Do not be extravagant. إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينَ. Those people that squander wealth and are wasteful, they are the brothers of Iblis. They are the brothers of Shaytaan himself. And what sifat does Allah mention after that? وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِرَبِّهِ كَفُورًا. That when you are ungrateful, like Iblis was ungrateful for all the bounties of Allah, it can lead you to kufr and shirk. So the fact that Allah has granted us so many bounties and ni'am, and it is not utilized in the correct avenue, is a form of shirk. Then number 4, going into debt is madhmoom, it is rebuked in Shariat. Number 5, a person gets into interest. Number 6, because we desire certain things, even though we don't need it, we feed in the nafs and we starve in the ruh. Number 7, through those shopping sprees and these early mornings and these late nights online shopping, specifically in stores, people don't care about anybody else. It's every man for himself. So the alam of nafsi, nafsi. So the people of Batil have emphasized and they've highlighted the importance of this day, where a person looks forward to it. He anticipates it. We're supposed to be anticipating and looking forward to the Eids, to the Jumu'ahs, for the Amal that we're going to do on those days to increase our connection with Allah. These are amal of batil to disconnect ourselves with Allah. That's why many jokes are made about Black Friday. They say tomorrow is Black Friday, just be decent and civilized by holding the cell phone horizontal when recording any fights. So it become a war zone. Nafsi, nafsi. See, what's the definition of Black Friday? It is only in America where people trample others for sales and deals exactly one day after being thankful for what they already have. Thanksgiving is being grateful for what you have, yet you need to trample on somebody else. Somebody said, here's hoping Black Friday doesn't turn into a black and blue Saturday. Nafsi, nafsi. Somebody said, I don't know what it is, because people were rushing and going early. So they also went. So I don't know what it is, but I know it's on sale. I know it's on sale. So we need to change the name of Black Friday and call it Bag Friday, because people walk out with bags and bags and bags. In regards to this blessed Mubarak day, the day of Jumu'ah. So, أَضَلَّ اللَّهُ عَنِ الْجُمْعَةِ مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَنَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala erased the knowledge of Jumu'ah from the Ummah. فَكَانَ لِلْيَهُودِ يَوْمُ السَّبْتِ. The Jews were given Saturday. وَكَانَ لِلنَّصَارَ يَوْمُ الْأَحَدِ. And they were given Sunday. فَجَاءَ اللَّهُ بِنَا. Nabi alayhi salam is saying, we are so fortunate. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought the day of Jummah to this ummah. فَهَدَانَ اللَّهُ لِيَوْمِ الْجُمْعَةِ. Allah has guided us to this Jummah. This is a day of hidayat, not dalalat. So batil will bring dalalat and astrayness in this day. So نحن الآخرون من أهل الدنيا والأولون يوم القيامة. That we have come last, but we will go first into Jannah, like how this ummah are leaders. The leader of all the days of this world is the day of Jumu'ah. خير يوم طلعت عليه الشمس يوم الجمعة. The best day where the sun rises on earth is the day of Jumu'ah. فيه خلق آدم. That Adam alayhi salam was created. So many virtues of Jumu'ah to teach us a lesson. لا تطلع الشمس ولا تغرب على يوم أفضل من يوم الجمعة. The sun does not rise and set on a day better than the day of Jumu'ah. Now this mizaj of waiting for the day of Jumu'ah to do ibadat has been snatched from the ummah. وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ إِلَّا وَهِيَ تَفْزَعُ يَوْمَ الْجُمْعَةِ. Every creation of Allah gets worried on Jumu'ah, because maybe, is it possible it will be Qiyamah? إِلَّا الْجِنْ وَالْإِنسِ. Insan and Jinnat are carrying their shopping and filling their trolleys and filling their boots of the cars and filling their carts online. So Jumu'ah is a Eid for the believers. إِنَّ هَذَا يَوْمُ عِيدٍ جَعَلَهُ اللَّهُ لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ. It's a special gift, and so special. إِنَّ فِي الْجُمُعَةِ لَسَاعَةٍ. There's a moment on this day of Jumu'ah. يَسَلُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا إِلَّا أَعْطَاهُ إِيَّاهُ. Whatever you ask for, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant it. أَكْثِرُ الصَّلَاةِ عَلَيَّ يَوْمَ الْجُمْعَةِ. They read a lot of durood on the night of Jumu'ah and the day of Jumu'ah. So Ibn Qayyim rahimullah has explained that the day of Jumu'ah is the leader of the days, and we are the leaders of the ummah, and Nabi alayhi salam is the leader of Anbiya alayhi salatu was salam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it muwafiq, so that when this ummah will go to in Jannah, it's an Eid for them. When they will meet Nabi alayhi salam, it will be Eid. But Allah gave us Eid in dunya, because all these bounties that we are getting is because of the barakat of Janab Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. فَمَنْ شَكَرَهُ وَأَدَّى الْقَلِيلِ مِنْ حَقِّهِ. So whoever is grateful and does a little bit, and what's the gratefulness? The Qayyim is saying that you read durood on Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam on these days. So we should not get caught up in this dunya, in the trap of dunya, in the plotting of dunya. Either we the hunter or the hunted. They say one day a father was very wealthy, took his son to the countryside and he wanted to show him that how poor people are living, and we are rich, we are wealthy, so you must appreciate it. So they spent a few days and nights on a farm by a village with very poor people. As they returned back, the father asked the son that, what was your opinion of the trip? So he said it was very brilliant. So the father said, did you see how poor people are, how they live? So the son said, yes. He said, what did you learn from this trip? So the son said, I saw that we have one animal, they have many animals, we have one pet, they've got a lot of pets, they've got cows, they've got sheep, they've got cats, they've got a host of animals, they've got monkeys roaming freely. He said, we have a pool that reaches the middle of our garden, so small. They have creeks that has no end. We have imported lanterns and lights in our garden. They have the stars at night. Our patio reaches the front yard. They have the horizon. We have a small piece of land to live in. They have fields beyond our vision. We have servants to serve us, but they serve everybody else. We buy food. They grow theirs. We have walls around our property to protect us. They have friends, family, neighbors to protect them. We live in a prison and they are free to roam where they want to go. The father was speechless. He didn't know what to say. Then the son ended and said, thanks, yeah. Thank you, my Abba. Thank you, Father, for showing me how poor we are. How poor we are. Going back onto the history of Black Friday, it's more darker than we can imagine. One scenario was where Wall Street financiers, Gold and Fisk, teamed up to carry a master plan to get all the nation's gold, where they plotted to skyrocket the commodity market and to profit out of the gold. So that faithful day, 25th of September 1869, became known as Black Friday because the stock market spiraled into a free fall and the richest became the poorest. Overnight, they became bankrupt. That's one scenario. Then other scenarios mentions Black Friday dated to the 1800s, where plantation owners operating in southern states of America would discount slavery and the prices of the slaves that are sold after Thanksgiving Day. I'm not going to get into authenticity of these stories, just the different narrations. More concerning than those two scenarios is which is portrayed to American school children, they say in the 1620s, 1621, where the local Native Americans and there was a feast which took place at that time, and they put it as a positive thing where there was peace and harmony between the locals and the Americans, and they were celebrating that peace and harmony. But that's not the true original point. But John Winthrop, who was governor in the Massachusetts colony, at that time soldiers were slaughtered, many of the PK, men, women and children, which nowadays Mystic, Connecticut. And in an article in the Historical Journal of Massachusetts, a state university professor said that the war's ultimate death toll could have been as high as 30% of the English population and half of the Native Americans in New England. This war was a series of brutal, it was colonial, and the colonists, they wiped out the Native Americans in New England, New York and Virginia. So even teachers and professors, the Native American descendants, have said that they want to rethink the holiday and they call it Thanksgiving or the Thanksgiving Massacre. Even in the US Indians and in New England, they have been mourning Thanksgiving since 1970. It's been mourned since 1970. But a more concerning scenario. So if you look at in the churches, it was called Thanksgiving. It's called the Eucharist, which is Thanksgiving. They've given it a lot of names: the Lord's Supper, breaking of bread, Eucharistic assembly, memorial of Lord's Passion, resurrection, holy massacre of the Mass, sacred mysteries, sacrament, etc., etc. So this was a Mass, but it's actually shirk, because they actually celebrating Isa alayhi salam, and the churches are celebrating, they've given it different names, and the nature of the sacrifice, the old covenant, the new covenant, and they've gone into the merits of the sacrifice and the sacraments. And this was the Last Supper in their books of Jesus, the Holy Thursday. It was a holy sacrifice. So they say in Christ's bloody sacrifice on the cross, and they had to show thanks because he sacrificed himself for atoning of the sins of humanity. Now look at the darkness and the shirk and the batil in that. Worse than that is the Black Mass ceremony, which is celebrated by satanic groups, and that's directly in contrast to the Catholic Mass. But this Black Mass is a link to Satanism and witchcraft, and it's in the Satanic Mass in London, which was published in 1954. They say the Black Mass and even music groups in 1967, a 13-minute recording of the full-length Satanic Mass was made by the US band, which was known as Coven. And it was a witchcraft which destroys minds and reaps the soul. So the album cover of the Black Mass and the chanting and the words and the origin of the French words which was used, but they use invocations of Iblis directly. So this album which was released, which is a large portion and primarily focus on the satanic cult, and these rituals have slogans which in Latin, if we translate it, in the name of our, in the name of our God Satan, Lucifer the Most High. So the Satanic Mass, which they also celebrate, is the celebration, and they use the word Satanus, which is a name for Shaytaan, which appears in the Latin text of Satanism, and witchcraft, which they chant, "Welcome Satan, hail Satan." So this is in direct contrast, because good has to make, we make qurbani, sacrifice. Batil also needs to make qurbani and sacrifice. So this is the day where the Satanists put forward their sacrifices to Shaytaan, to Dajjal, to Iblis. Now, when a person does a lot of shopping, it's a very subtle point. It's my money, it is halal. Now on this day, I'm sacrificing my deen. Nabi alayhi salam said a time will come that a person will be a believer in the morning, a kafir in the evening. Yabi'u, he will be a mu'min in the morning, a kafir in the evening. He will be a mu'min in the evening, a kafir in the morning. Yabi'u deenahu bi'aradhin min ad-dunya. He will sell his deen for dunya. The fact that I miss my Jumu'ah, I miss my Fajr Salat, that halal wealth I'm using it for haram items, is exactly what Iblis wants. We just sacrificed our deen, sold our deen in the name of Iblis. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. The amal for today is Inna Sa'id liman junnib al-fitan. Nabi alayhi salam said it 3 times. That to be, say, low profile, undercover, and out of sight, out of mind in the mountains, staying far away from fitna. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.